We're going to answer this question for multiple choice questions with 5 possible answers each. When you're doing your version of this question, just make sure that you notice how many possible answers you have. This could be different depending on the iteration of your problem. But mine says 5 possible answers. Of course, only one answer is going to be correct. And we're going to guess the answers to 3 different questions. So we want to use the multiplication rule to find the probability that the first 2 guesses are wrong and the third is correct. So that is written out as the probability of WWC, where W is representing a wrong answer choice and C is representing a correct answer choice. And so for this, I've mapped out that we have 3 questions, 5 possible answers each. So the probability of WWC means wrong and then correct. So that key phrase and then meant we should use the multiplication rule. We need to calculate the probability of getting the first one wrong, then multiply that times the probability of getting the second one wrong, and multiply that times the probability of getting the last one correct. And the notation I'm using here on these is this reads the probability of the second one wrong given that the first one was wrong. And this one reads the probability of getting the third one correct given that the first 2 were wrong. Sometimes, depending on the way the question is set up, if you're doing these without replacement, there will be a difference in your probabilities as you go along, but these are independent trials because they're separate multiple choice questions, and every time you do it, you have 5 choices, which one is correct. So it actually turns out that this kind of simplifies to the probability of wrong times the probability of wrong times the probability of correct, simply because these are independent trials. Okay, so then we have, for the first one to be wrong, we have 4 out of 5 choices. For the second one to be wrong, again, we have 4 wrong answers out of 5 choices. And for the third one to be correct, 1 correct answer out of 5 choices. So as decimals, that's how they calculate. And then that we get our answer by multiplying those together. Now you can use the product function if you set it up so that each of these lives in a separate cell. And you're using Excel, of course. If you're doing this on a regular calculator or even just want to do it by hand in Excel, you can raise 0.8 to the power of 2. So however many, depending on how your numbers work out in your example of the problem, if you have that same probability appearing multiple times, you can use an exponent to shorten the calculation. And then so this is the answer for part A. Now part B said, what is the probability of getting exactly 1 correct? So this is a little different than just saying that the last one was correct. Now we're allowing for the first one to be correct, or the second one to be correct, or the third one to be correct. So that keyword or there means we're going to add the probability of each one of these individual possibilities together. We already calculated the probability of the last one being correct, so we'll use that again. Now, notice that when I go through and do the probability of the first one being correct, I'll do 1 out of 5 on the first trial, 4 out of 5 on the second trial, and then 4 out of 5 on the third trial for those last 2 to be wrong, and it comes out to be the same. And likewise, it happens here as well. 4 out of 5 on the first try, 1 out of 5 on the second try, and 4 out of 5 on the third try. So again, since multiplication, you can change the order, it doesn't affect how the final answer comes out. And now with the addition rule, we would add these together. So to get our final answer here, we can just add these. Or since they're all the same probability, the smart way of doing this is to realize that there are 3 different positions that that one correct answer could have sat in. So we can just do 3 times the probability of the last one being correct that we had already calculated earlier. And that's how you answer that question. I hope that was helpful. See you in the next video.